as a writer, you have to keep a certain detachment, because there's nothing worse for a reader than to feel like an author is sort of, poking them in the chest constantly for hours. I mean, it wouldn't be a very pleasant reading experience. So I mean, there's an inevitable detachment you have to have when you're talking about an issue this deep and this serious. But of course, as I think the reader can tell, I have my own simmering anger about some of the things I'm writing about, and you can't turn it up to full throttle throughout a book. You can turn it up to full throttle at parts, which is what I think I do. But yes, I mean, all of the things I'm describing in the war on the West, I mean, are enraging to me, as I think they almost certainly are to a majority of the public. It's a horrible thing to see everything in your culture that you love being put through the same ringer of tedious, rebarbative, vengeful, sort of monomaniacal political hectoring, as we've seen in recent years. And absolutely everything from our history to our culture, every single aspect of the culture, from football games to Shakespeare's Globe, you just guess what politics you're going to be offered whenever you leave the house. That absolutely enrages me, because I think it's simplistic. I think it's reductive. I think it's very, very harmful. And I don't think there's any form of politics or activism that I would want shoved down my throat every time I left the house. I don't think there is. But this maniacal obsession with, race, slavery, empire, the sins of the past and sins of the present, this is so damaging. And of course it is enormously anger causing, because first of all, as I say in the book, it is deeply unfair. I mean, it's deeply unfair to our past. And I also think, and we'll come on to this, that it's deeply unfair to us in the present. I don't think that there is any group of people who would put up with being told forever that they are, by dint of their skin color, just awful. I mean, I think it's sort of obvious, and if it's not obvious, I state it now, but I've stated in the past, not least in the madness of crowds. It seems to me that race should be like sex and sexuality, something which is sort of as uninteresting really about a person as hair color. If they have a competency to achieve something, then they should be allowed to achieve it, whatever their race or sex or sexuality. That seems sort of obvious to me, and the aspiration we were getting to. And then in recent years, as I say in the madness of crowds, the trains seem to be pulling into some kind of station, and then got this head of steam, went shooting off again. And what I describe in the War on the West is really one of the things that's now happened from that shooting out of the station again, that not only our past is being torn up, but that people in the present are being invited to live their lives as guilty, sort of appalling people who should sidle through life without causing any harm, and then sidle off. And that of course is enraging. To say that to any group of people would be maddening, but to say it to the majority is just tactically as well as morally just mad.